Hey everyone, it's Katia Dean. I'm a co-founder of Katia Cybersecurity LLC. A little bit about me. I have an undergrad degree in electronic engineering technology, and I also have a master's in cybersecurity technology. I'm currently a systems engineer for Innovation LLC. When I'm not working my 9 to 5, I am a cybersecurity technical resume writer. I am very passionate about improving the cybersecurity workforce, and I actually created my first ebook that's called The Struggle is Real, a blueprint into the cybersecurity discipline that will launch May the 27th. And a little bit about that book is that I actually share with you all my journey of finding employment during the government shutdown and actually being unemployed for 9 months. I make sure that I discuss in the book what cybersecurity really means. I also share with you the 7 areas of cybersecurity, and I also help you with your job search, making sure that you guys understand that the law of attraction is real in the interviewing process. And I actually share 2 of my most shocking interviews that I had with some tips that I learned along the way. Of course, I couldn't do that on my own. I also had a mentor, and I also share with you all about being a mentor or also being a mentee. As we saw in the panel discussion today, that everyone has a different background into getting into cybersecurity. So I actually had the opportunity to share 10 people's stories that got into cybersecurity. And it wouldn't be right if I didn't have some daily affirmations in my book. So be on the lookout for that. So let's get to job searching. When I did my job searching, I actually had a plan of attack that I shared in some of my blogs. So my strategy was, one, to focus on the industry. So most of my experience deal with supporting Department of Defense contract work. So my industry was government, defense and space, and sometimes aviation because I worked at Northrop Grumman. Then after that, I went to the company size. So I have experience dealing with big companies and then smaller companies. I actually like the smaller company size because you get to grow more and you actually get exposed to different roles within your current role. And then the last thing is actually the role itself. So a lot of people, when they do job searching, I notice a lot of people focus on the title. However, if you just focus on the title, that could be confusing in a different industry. So you could see a SOC analyst role for the banking industry, but if you look, let's just say the defense and space side, a SOC analyst could be a completely different thing. So you just want to make sure that in your job search that you actually look at the day-to-day tasks that you would be doing each day. And I'm actually going to do 2 live demonstrations to give you all an example of what's going on. And for my job search, I actually decided to go against the, sorry. So I decided to go against the grain for job search, and I want to focus on the non-technical side, which I actually referenced the cybersecurity workforce document, which is the NIST 800-181 document. So my particular section in cybersecurity is the oversee and governance side of cybersecurity. So I mainly focus on business processes, collaborate with different teams on various projects. So for my current search for Indeed, and I know some people are against Indeed, but I actually like Indeed. So what's going on now, of course, with the, I'll call it the Rona, with the Rona and whatnot, I decided to do remote and then business analyst. So for instance, what I actually like about this senior business analyst role is that if you all can see something that's very unique, is that they actually ask for someone that has UX and UI design experience. So this is an example where if you come from a different background and that you could actually transfer your UX experience and get it to cybersecurity this way. And another example for this, as you know, in the DMV area, most of these jobs, we always need to have security clearances and all that stuff. But for this particular role, and if you look at any other job descriptions, if you see something that says obtain a DHS EOD clearance, or it might say obtain a security clearance, I highly recommend that you apply for these type of roles, because this just means that the company will actually put you in through the process for a security clearance versus finding jobs where you need to have a clearance. Another search we could do, since I know a lot of people like to do, actually I'm gonna search it up again. We're gonna do technical writer. So a technical writer is also on the non-technical side. So this is good if you maybe majored in English, communications, or you like to write. So technical writing actually falls under the oversee and governance side, and you could actually help with policy as well, because they need people with technical writing skills. So make sure y'all check out a technical writing role, and let's see what this technical writer 1 position is about. So for this particular role, oh, y'all, this is actually a for real entry level. We don't hit the jackpot, y'all. Hold on. All right. So right here, this is very rare. So this actually says bachelor's degree with 0 to 2 years of experience. So this is actually a true entry level role. I'm sure most of everyone out there that's job searching, most of the time we see entry level, it says 3 to 5 years, sometimes 7 years, and you look to see, okay, that's not really entry level. And another good thing, as I mentioned before, since we are in the DMV area, here in this particular one, they says eligibility for a DoD secret clearance is required. So once again, that just means you will be put in possibly for a security clearance. And then let me get back to my presentation. Okay, so that was my quick demo. On to resume tips. I do resumes all the time, from entry level all the way up into senior level. And here are some things that I see all the time. So some tips that I recommend for everyone is, number 1, do not put your full address on your resume. You could eliminate that. Sometimes you could just put the city and the state, or you could just leave it off. I actually did that for most of my resumes when I apply for jobs. Make sure that you are using the correct tense. So this is something common that I see. If you are currently working and it says present, make sure that all your action verbs are in the correct tense. So some people would say present, but they will use the ED at the end. So that's a little confusing. So make sure that you pay attention to those small details in your resume. Another thing is to make sure that you use the same font throughout the whole resume. Some fonts that I actually like is Calibri, Garmin, Georgia, and Arial sometimes. Times New Roman is kind of old school, so I wouldn't recommend doing that. And someone actually had mentioned this in a panel discussion. I tell people this all the time when I'm doing their resumes. Please, please put all cyber related projects, labs, online learning on your resume. And the reason why I say that is because, yes, you could say that you're passionate about cybersecurity, but you also need to show how you're passionate. And this will actually be a great icebreaker during the interview as well. Because, for instance, when I was looking for employment during my 9 months, even though I was not working, I actually put my blog. So my job title was a cybersecurity blogger. And I actually put the articles I wrote and all those things. So the thing about the title cybersecurity blogger, a lot of recruiters and hiring managers was actually interested in, oh, can you tell me what a cybersecurity blogger is? And that was actually a great conversation starter. And then I was able to talk about my past work experience. So even though everyone, as I know, even though y'all going through a storm, still look at the positive and focus on, okay, what am I doing to grow myself? Let me focus on that during my interviews and then go back to your job experience. And I wanted to show y'all, because I do resumes all the time, but I wanted to show y'all one of my clients' resumes that I'm actually so proud of him still. So this was a client that I had. He was a college student and he only had his college experience. So I told him that during this time, cloud is very important. So he came to me, he said, hey, Katia, I'm thinking about doing a Security Plus, and I know I'm probably gonna ruffle some people's feathers, but I'm gonna be truthful. So I have a love-hate relationship for the Security Plus. I'm that person that Security Plus is a great basics. However, when you're looking for a job, now you have to compete with everybody else that has the Security Plus. So my advice to anyone is that, one, think outside the box, think what is up and coming, and then choose your search that way. Also choose your search based off what you are passionate about in your whole path. So for his resume, of course, I put his name, phone number, email. As I mentioned before, just the city and state. For your summary, if you are entry level, I always say to put your current role that you probably inspired to be. And if you're earning a cert, say, hey, I'm earning the Security Plus so I can mitigate against risk. Or if you're getting a CEH, you're earning to get this cert because you want to defend a network, something on those terms. Education, if you are entry level and a student, GPA is important for an internship. Now for me, I have like 6 years of experience. I didn't need to put my GPA on mine. And also, if you have like 6 years of experience, then you will actually put your education at the bottom. Put certifications as well, technical skills. I'm a person, when I do a resume, I only put the technical skills that you know. The reason why I do that is because, yes, you could put as many keywords you want to get through the ATS system, but if you cannot explain a certain skill that you listed on your resume, then you're going to set yourself up during an interview because you can't explain that. So I recommend to only put skills that you actually know and that you can speak to. As I told you guys before, I put his school experience. So he had some labs that he did. So I put he's a student, and I named the type of project that he did. And I also described just in 4 bullet points what he did in that project. He also told me that, hey, Katie, I did some AWS projects on my own. Can I add that on there? And I'm like, sure, because that's experience. You can speak to it. So for that, I put the title as a researcher. For resumes, there is a lot going back and forth. Should it be 1 page? Should it be 2 page? From my experience in doing various resumes in different industries, from my experience, if you are going, I say the government route, our resumes are a little bit more detailed and a lot more pages because of the requirements of certain contracts. So sometimes they want more detail. If you're going on the, I call it the commercial side, then sometimes short, straight to the point, but very impactful sentences are good. So entry level, tops, most everybody's like 1 page. If you have like 3 to 5 years, depending on how long you've been at the job, I think I get those like around 2 to 3 pages. And because I love my people, I decided to share some of my client reviews. Christina, if you're out there, hey girl. I'm really proud of Christina because she was one of my clients that was in Cali, and I actually helped her with her resume, and we actually walked through the negotiation process to make sure that she didn't get lowballed with her salary. And as some of you might not know, that a lot of us don't negotiate our salary. So it's very important to negotiate your salary. You do not have to settle for what the recruiter is telling you or what the hiring manager is telling you. I actually negotiated my salary 3 times last year. So I'm basically a negotiation guru at this point in time. So make sure y'all reach out to me if y'all have any questions about salary negotiation. And to get in contact with me for any cybersecurity technical resumes or career services, you could book me at my website, follow me on Twitter. If you connect with me on LinkedIn, please add a note because I have like 18 million people. And my book is coming out May the 27th, so make sure that you all are watching my LinkedIn for that. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen and ask some of y'all questions as well. Oh yes, for my book, it will be on my website soon. I'm just in the midst of doing the marketing for that. Some people are against job search on Indeed because sometimes some people say they don't like it, or sometimes you can have spam. Some other website that I recommend is, if you're strictly looking for cybersecurity positions, is ninjajobs.org. And if you all find something on ninjajobs.org, I am y'all plug for that because I know the recruiters over there. So if y'all find something, send me a DM with your most recent resume. And I will also make sure that y'all resume is up to par because I don't want y'all out here slipping. And I think I got everybody's question. Oh, resumes that are printed out front to back. To me, that depends on like if you're in an interview. So when I had an interview, my resume was printed out front to back because I had like 3 pages. But more than likely, if you separate them, that would probably work. But since we are in these times, everything would be virtual. So it's okay to have it printed front and back. It's no big deal. And I am done with my speaking, y'all. And I will leave all my contact information in the chat as well.